Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A quick book summary. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad was first published in 1997 and quickly became a must-read for people interested in investing, money, and the global economy. The book has been translated into dozens of languages, sold around the world, and has become the one personal finance book of all time. The overarching theme of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is how to use money as a tool for wealth development. It destroys the myth that the rich are born rich, explains why your personal residence may not really be an asset, describes the real difference between an asset and a liability, and much more. Key takeaways, lessons, learned. 6 lessons. Robert Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad about making money and the mistakes that Poor Dad made 5 obstacles to overcome before you can become rich and stay rich. 10 steps to follow to develop your financial genius. Actionable to-do steps you can put to work right away. Chapter section summaries. Rich Dad. Poor Dad contains a total of 10 chapters plus the introduction, but much of the book is focused on the first 6 parts or lessons. Introduction. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Chapter 1. The Rich Don't Work for Money. Chapter 2. Why Teach Financial Literacy. Chapter 3. Mind Your Own Business. Chapter 4. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. Chapter 5. The Rich Invent Money. Chapter 6. Work to Learn. Don't Work for Money. Introduction. Rich Dad. Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, had 2 main influential fathers in his life. Poor Dad was Kiyosaki's biological father, a man who was highly intelligent and very well educated. Poor Dad believed in studying hard and getting good grades, then finding a well-paying job. Yet despite these seemingly positive attributes, Poor Dad didn't do well financially. Rich Dad was the father of Kiyosaki's best friend. He had a similar work ethic to Kiyosaki's real dad, but with a twist. Rich Dad believed in financial education, learning how money works, and understanding how to make money work for you. Although he was an 8th grade dropout, Rich Dad eventually became a millionaire by putting the power of money to work for him. The book is written from Kiyosaki's perspective of how Rich Dad went about making money, and the mistakes that Poor Dad made. The first 6 chapters of Rich Dad, Poor Dad make up about 2/3 of the book, and discuss the 6 lessons that Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad. Chapter 1. Full intro next video. Please watch.